Hey guys, Kevin with etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Curt E16 fifth wheel hitch. Operating this hitch is super simple. While your handle is down, it's not going to be able to come out, so it's locked in place, so you know that your hitch isn't going to be able to uncouple from your kingpin. If you lift your handle up, you can kind of feel as you're lifting it up, it kind of pops up out of here so that you can actually uncouple. You can pull that slide jaw out, lock it in place, and then you can also recouple up. So as you're pulling up to your trailer, it is going to tilt down. You can come back up, it'll pop right in and automatically lock into place. And then you can turn that handle back down to keep your jaw from being able to unlock. Now I do want to say this is the basic starter run-of-the-mill kind of model. It is a slide bar jaw, and typically when you have that, you will experience quite a bit of noise, quite a bit of movement, some chucking. You're not going to have all of the added comfort that you will with some of the upgraded fifth wheel hitches. So if you look a little bit closer, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this one bar just goes straight across. It does not conform to the round kingpin that's sitting in here. So you can kind of see it can kind of move just a little bit, whereas with your single jaw or your two-piece jaws, it kind of wraps around it, prevents it from being able to move, prevents any of that noise, and just gives you overall a better ride quality. This hitch head can pivot front to back, which is going to help with coupling and uncoupling your trailer, but there is no rubber dampeners in this. There's no air ride, anything. There's nothing to really kind of help with any ride quality. So if you are looking for a more comfortable ride, or maybe you have some issues with the ride you already currently have, this probably wouldn't be the best option for you. I'd recommend going with something that has a little bit more of a built-up head on it that has some of those rubber dampeners in it. So what this hitch lacks in its ride quality, it does make up for in its ability to easily come apart. It's not as large as some of those upgraded hitches. If you pull these two pins, you can easily remove the head, which greatly reduces the weight of this hitch overall so that you can easily get it in and out of your truck without having to have a second set of hands with you. As you can see, it does sit within our base rails. It really does not come past the center of the base rails at all. So if you need to store extra stuff, maybe you have a bunch of firewood, some coolers, maybe you have a shorter bed, and you just need to have some extra space in there for all the other stuff, you can kind of plan exactly how much space you're going to have because you know this sits right within the base rails. Now this does come with two prongs right here that have a hole in it that's going to fit about a 3/8 inch size pin through it. And now what you can do with that is easily lock your bar into place so that nobody else can come up and uncouple your trailer from your hitch. As far as installation goes, this hitch is super simple to put together. It is only 4 bolts, 4 nuts, and then 6 pins. And honestly, you could easily put this hitch together within 10 minutes all by yourself. You don't really even need a second set of hands for it like you might with some other hitches. But let's go ahead and show you how we did it. To start off our installation, we're going to be putting on our handle. Now when we put our handle on, we want to make sure that when we slide that bolt through, that we can't undo our jaw here. Now when I get that on, just to show you guys, when I pull this out, I should not be able to pull it out while it's facing down. So we know that that little inner bar right there is not in the correct position, so we're going to want to pull this off. Actually, we'll flip it up first, we'll drop our bolt out, and then we'll pull it off and put our handle back down. Now when I put my bolt through, I shouldn't be able to pull this out at all. As you can see, the jaw is locked in place. Not until I go up can I open it up. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that bolt now that we have it in the correct position. You're going to want to use 2 10mm sockets or wrenches. Sockets are just easier in my opinion. But from there we can go ahead and start adding on our legs to our cross member. Now on our cross member, I personally prefer to have the coupling instructions on the same side as our handle, so that's what we're going to use as our left side if we were looking at it from the tailgate. When we're looking at our legs, we want to make sure that that orange line is facing out. You'll also notice that you'll have your manufacturer sticker that has a serial number and the item code for that specific hitch facing out. Now the next important decision is exactly how we're going to place these legs. There are 4 different height positions with our cross member here. Now this is really going to depend on the truck and your fifth wheel. What you're going to need to do is, while your truck is level, you're going to measure from the bed of your truck down to the ground, and then you're going to measure from the skid plate that's on your fifth wheel. And that skid plate is the part above your kingpin, so that flat surface, because that kingpin is going to come and sit and lock in the jaws. So we want to get where that height is while your trailer is level, and the difference between the two is going to be where you need to set your hitch. Now, if you have base rails already installed in your truck, I recommend going ahead and getting your legs set up in it. That's going to kind of help keep them more stable. That way you don't have them wobbling all over the place if you just had them sitting there. Then you can go ahead and drop on your cross member. And we can take our bolts. Now, typically when you're putting on bolts, you'd think that you'd slide that through, slide the washer on, and then your nut. But in this case, Curt only has you slip your bolt through and then use that washer on the inside, because there's a little bit of a gap between the leg and then the weldment right here, and that basically just kind of eats up some of that space. So I'm going to slip my washer in place and push my bolt through, and we'll put our nylon lock nut on the outside, and then we'll just repeat this for the rest of the 3 spots. There we go. Now that I have all those in place, we're going to go ahead and put on our lock nuts. Now, there is not a torque setting on the instructions for this at all. It just says to get until it's tight, but you can also just look up the torque setting for that size bolt along with its thread size and torque it down to that, just to be extra careful. There is a nylon lock nut on this, so it shouldn't come off, but in my personal opinion, I always prefer to just go the extra mile for the safety of it. But we can go ahead and kind of run these down a bit with our wrenches. On the bolt head side, you're going to want to use a 21mm socket or wrench, and then on the nut itself, you're going to use a 22mm. Now with our legs in place, we can go ahead and drop on our hitch head. Simply will sit in just like that, and then we're going to have 2 pin and clips that we're going to stick right through. That's going to secure it in place. Last thing to do is just slip your pin and clips into the feet to lock it in place in your base rails, and then you'll be all good to go. Well, now that we've gone over all of the specifics of this hitch, I think that about does it for our look today at the Curt E16 fifth wheel hitch. My name's Kevin. Thanks for watching.